special good morning to our listeners, special good morning to our viewers. Welcome to today's edition of To The Point. It's Thursday, the 28th day of May 2026. Good morning to all listeners and viewers via social media platforms. How's everyone doing this morning? I certainly hope it's A-OK with you this morning, and certainly love to have you being part of today's edition. Usually on Thursday, we do, of course, entertain various departments within the RGPF. We should have been having the traffic division department this morning. Certainly, I haven't seen anyone showed up as yet. I've been holding there for a wee bit in terms of getting the program started. Haven't seen anyone showed up as yet. So, which means automatically we're going to switch the conversation to you, our listeners and viewers this morning, giving you the opportunity to call in and, of course, share your views, share your concerns in relation to issues that is of concern to you, and or issues that you just want to bring to the fore this morning. Let's get the conversation rolling. So, the number is once again 435-2041, 435-2041. You have double options. I like to say it in that particular way, whether the Facebook or the direct line, so that you could, of course, communicate with me this morning. Make sure all the devices in the background are turned off when you decide to make that call into the station. Make sure the devices are turned off, and you can certainly listen to me via the telephone or not via your radio or television. All right? We do have our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, GT. I'm on to your listeners and your viewers.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, I tried to raise an issue some time ago, and most people might think it's maybe not important, but I think it's if people understand how certain folks work, we could probably avoid it. It is said that part of the way the Israelis and the Americans were able to penetrate Iran in the initial stage, like when they decapitated in the first the Israeli war against Iran, and also in the recent one, is that what the work they did years and years ago in terms of penetrating the people by using even the academics, recruiting people while they're in conferences. And I'm sure this is happening for the region here. But what really disturbs me a lot is the fact that we are allowing these people, while they're preventing us from having good relations with other countries, and including benefiting from medical assistance and so on, they're telling us to allow them to indoctrinate us in hip-hop of all genre, all forms of entertainment. Hip-hop, one of the things that got the African-American population in deep trouble. The attitude to women, and can we allowing them? And there, of course, all this other stuff about our agreement with security, and what's the other one? Security, and another one, and energy, and so all of this is to trap us more than we should. We should take care of those folks and them, and learn to be more independent, not, kowtowing or bowing down, and without any sense that we have our own, that we can think for ourselves. I raise that because it disturbed me, and I can see trouble coming down, because a few years ago they were having things where they came here and they were recruiting people for whatever. Now we're having what they call cultural diplomacy. Thank you, GT. I really felt I'm
thank you.
about that.
I always like to ask you a question or two before you move on. Now, the hip hop situation. What is the real difficulty you are having with it?
Why not help us if you really want to help us? Why not help us to perfect the art that we got in calypso, reggae, our folk tradition? Why hip hop? Hip hop is not our stuff, although we may have connection with the people who started hip hop. But this is something that is being used to colonize people, especially African Americans. So, I mean, everything has its place. But you see, it's like how they're using religion to continue to divide us. We have to be smarter. We have to be much more clever. This is all I'm saying. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just trying to get people to open their eyes. the thing about it, if you're trying to tell us that we can have receive help in terms of the medical facility from a country who have dedicated itself, who have sacrificed, and now we come in giving us a dance like some little monkeys, and treat our women like little some objects. What are you telling us? And some people may say, well, I'm going too far, but I'm seeing the damage that could happen, that have happened. Don't forget, these people impose a psychological warfare on us, and we're reaping the fruits of that. After they invaded Grenada, I just want people to wake up. We're sleeping. And I'm beginning to be worried about those agreements that we are signing as a country with those people. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your contribution as always. And that caller got the ball rolling there this morning, and he's having a bit of an issue in terms of the sharing of the cultures in that particular manner. And he's entitled to his opinion. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning and welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, sir. I'm doing good. What about you this morning?
Pretty all right, by the grace of God, Mr. Telesford.
Nice to hear that.
I just want to draw a line on the contributions of the last caller there, or some of his inputs. Transculturalization, they call it. They wave their thing in front of us, and I totally agree with them. Instead of helping us to develop ours, so that we can monetize it, so to speak. The teaching there, the same that they do with the movies, but anyway, that's a subject matter in itself. Today I want to speak on things relative to our country. We are observing this here country, brothers and sisters, abuse of the authorities. Enough! But I particularly want to draw a reference to the increased prices on the supermarket shelf that seemingly nobody is making any hullabaloo about. And I try my best with the little that I have at my disposal, but I try to eat well. I eat beets, I eat carrots, I eat aubergines, and what we call it, egg, and olive oil, because it's good for my body. And it helps my tongue, because that's the one thing I'm functioning now, really. What of the other brothers and sisters that we clamoring every day to eat healthily? No, they tell us to eat healthy. Those idiots, they don't even know the adverb for health is healthily. The adverb. You don't eat healthy, you eat healthy foods, but you eat healthily as an act. How can they do it? I ask myself, brothers and sisters. A report coming out of the United Nations quite recently said that since 2018, prices on the supermarket shelf and of food in the region generally has increased by how much? 60%. Right now in this here country, a bottle of olive oil has moved a liter from $40 to $90, brothers and sisters. Ground coffee, another thing that I use, not that I don't use my cocoa too, local one, has increased 50%. Beets at $10 for 4 lousy ones in this here country. Local chicken is away $18 for 1 pound, 454 grams. Check it out. What is happening? How will the people survive in this country soon? Enhanced by what is happening on the international market. Generally with increase of commodities, in prices of commodities, increased costs of shipping, insurance, and otherwise. Prepare yourself for what is to come, brothers. But I want to call on the administration of this country that it is time to make moves to it. They've done it with the gasoline. Why can't they do it with the other food stuff that the people ought to eat and have to eat, as a matter of fact, to be able to survive? Something has to be done about the increase of prices on the supermarket shelves and food in general, even from our general St. George's Market. And I want to remind the Ministry of Social Development that in 2022, in December, in the debate of the Parliament over the budget of the following year, 23 budget, they agreed, the minister in her own words told me, I have the record in it, but the thing is that the record has spoiled it. But again, she said that our government shall continue the payment. I mean, in my own words, the $150 that the previous administration, the same government, I want to repeat this, governments don't change in Grenada. Administrations change. In other words, the faces of the individuals who run the business of the country change. But the government is the same government. With full authority, the previous administration put on $150 because they knew how the common man was feeling and the so-called poor and vulnerable, as defined by the United Nations, because in all countries there are these categories. They removed it in January. They said that they would continue in December 2022. In January it was removed for a full year. Then they came with $200 and telling the people that they put the $200. No, you put $50. We want our $1,800 corresponding to us in 2023. And it's significant to note that the prices have not gone down since then. Exacerbated by recent problems at a global level. It is time that you become honest or convert yourselves to be honest and trustworthy people, to give the impression, in fact, that you care about the ordinary man in this here country. Liars and manipulators here, Mr. Telesford. You can imagine what they're coming with next. Pie in the sky, also the promises. They haven't been unable to do anything significant in this here country for the past 4 years. For instance, as it relates to education. They're now knowing that to teach the language properly, you must take a different approach. They didn't know that before, these bright boys. Oh, what a tangled web we weaved, because first we practice to deceive. I challenge the government of Grenada. What they have to do, is to adjust, to do something to adjust and to guarantee, should I say, that the people, the common regular man in this here country, can eat better and live a better life, because they're catching their quote-unquote royal ass as it is today. For what it's worth, Mr. Telesford, do have a nice day. Will you?
Same goes out to you, sir. Best wishes goes out to you for the day. Hey, folks, we go due for a break, and of course, I guess I've arrived, so we're certainly going to have to attend to them and have them settle in just a wee bit after the break. Stay with us, don't touch your dial. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We're coming right back.
Coconut milk powder from Caribbean Dream.
The Ministry of Agriculture White Potato Production Initiative is an OECS sub-regional project aimed at reducing Grenada's reliance on imported white potatoes, which in 2025 had an imported value of over 4.5 million EC dollars. The White Potato Production Initiative is part of the Ministry of Agriculture's food security drive and is being undertaken with the simultaneous cultivation of other crops such as sweet potatoes, pineapples, coconuts, carrots, and other vegetables. Other OECS countries like Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are already at an advanced stage in white potato production, with Dominica completely cutting the import of white potatoes during the first quarter of 2026. Grenada is now preparing to advance production for better output in 2027. The Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Forestry, ensuring food and nutrition security for all.
At 5 p.m. on August 5th, 1944, the schooner Island Queen sailed out of the St. George's Harbor. On board were some of Grenada's brightest and best sons and daughters. What happened afterwards remains a mystery.
Where Island Queen gone?
Heritage Theatre Company presents Lucy's Straw Hat, a full-length drama written and directed by Chris DeRiggs, a moving story about a family caught up in the drama of this great mystery. Meet Mammy Sylvie, a woman with a secret too heavy to keep but too painful to reveal.
I'm asking for forgiveness for not telling you the truth.
Pa John, the war veteran.
Sometimes I sit here feeling so helpless, so crushed.
Hyacinth, always ready to do mischief.
You don't see the woman Uncle Norris married? She face ugly enough to turn milk.
Lucy, beautiful and headstrong.
I had a dream, Mommy, but Hyacinth was there, holding my hand.
Lucy's Straw Hat at Grenada Trade Center on Saturday 13th and Sunday 14th June, and at Deluxe Cinema on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st June. All shows 7 p.m. Advance tickets $60, $75 at the door. Come join us.
Where Island Queen gone?
For Grenada to realize its true potential, we must all be a part of nation building. From every corner of the world, our sons and daughters carry the spirit of the Spice Isle in their hearts through culture, innovation, investment, and service. Now is the time to come home to your beautiful Tri-Island state, to reconnect with our roots, share our knowledge, to inspire our youth, and to help shape a stronger, more resilient economy for generations to come. We are all part of the collective journey to shape the future of our nation. Together, we are building a nation we are proud of, a nation defined by opportunity, unity, and purpose. Grenada is more than a place on the map. It is our heritage, our future, our home. We look forward to welcoming you.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. It's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. I didn't mention that we should be having someone representing the traffic department this morning. Probably a slight mix-up, but nevertheless, I'll accommodate, of course, Renee here from, of course, the Child Protection Authority. Good morning to you, Renee. Welcome to The Point. I think it's your first time on the program with me.
It is, yes. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Welcome. Tell us something, Renee. What you do at the Child Protection Authority?
So I'm actually the project manager. So all things community engagement, social development, consultations, policy, but just basically making the lives of all of our clients and our staff members better and more enjoyable.
Oh, great. Because, you know, when you think about Child Protection Authority, you always think about, of course, children, their protection, and what you folks do in terms of making the lives of these individuals better. In fact, am I right in crewing along that particular direction?
Definitely. I mean, we do have some interventions that address, obviously, the parents, caregivers, and surrounding family members, because we appreciate that it takes a village to raise children. So we don't, although we primarily focus on the children, we are a holistic intervention service.
All right. And we basically, our conversation this morning is about that particular event you have coming up, and it's scheduled for the date is going to be on the 3rd of June.
Yep.
And it's called Know Your Rights Motorcade. All right. And as I mentioned, it's the Child Protection Authorities put it on that on. Tell us about this particular motorcade and the reasons why you decided to host an event of that nature.
Thank you. So our Know Your Rights Motorcade is for many reasons, but a huge one, which I hope everybody is aware of. We have been celebrating 15 years at CPA.
15 years?
15 years. Can you believe it? Obviously, we existed technically before that, but as the Child Welfare Service, but as Child Protection Authority, that's been mandated under the Child Protection and Adoption Act of 2010. We've officially celebrated 15 years. So this is our huge kind of cumulative event to celebrate this milestone achievement, but also it's an incredible opportunity for us not only to engage with the public, for us to be able to sign up more foster carers, share more advice, share more information, kind of I say better establish ourselves within the communities that we are put here to serve, but also to give persons an option or an opportunity to receive any information from us, ask any questions, even if they would like to report. We're free and available for everything on that day.
So folks have that opportunity on the day of that motorcade. Come the 3rd of June, you have an issue. You've probably been hesitant to come to the authorities, of course, offices or so. You can have that discussion with the folks on via that motorcade.
Yes, you can.
That opportunity is granted.
Yes, and for any subject matter. So please don't think it's limited just to reporting or just to questions. Even if you just want to find out more about the process of adoption or foster caring, anything, even our counselling services. We have many different interventions. Our parenting classes. Take the opportunity, quiz us. That's what we're there for.
The motorcade is entitled Know Your Rights. Talk to me about that.
So as obviously the Child Protection Authority, I should hope everybody knows that our biggest mandate is to protect the rights of children.
Yes.
But it's important important for children not only to understand that they have rights, but be empowered by them and guided by them, and to understand the difference between rights and liberties, and for parents, families, and adults who are around these children to understand that although they themselves as adults have rights, they do not get to infringe on the rights of a child. So we want to passionately empower persons to understand and know their rights.
Now, I'm going to ask you, this could probably be a ticklish question. When you say a parent's infringing on the rights of their child, what does that mean actually?
So,
even though I may have my own perception about it,
yes,
but I want to hear it from you in terms of parents infringing on the rights of their children.
That's no problem. So an example I might give, hopefully less controversial. Let's say you are traditionally a farming family, and for generations within your village, everybody have known you're the farmers. This is where you go. It's the best of the best. And perhaps historically, from about the age of 10 to 14, the males are then put to work in the gardens and start to learn the family trade because they're inheriting decades-old business, which is a beautiful thing. However, to do that, you would be removing them from education, and children have a right to education. So this is where the rights of the parent infringes on the rights of the child. So we can have them helping out, but obviously we know child labour laws, there are restrictions with that, and it has to be outside of working hours.
All right. I mean, in how I'm interpreting what you're saying, I'm a farmer, and I just feel, well, my children should be farmers too. No, I'm holding back on them moving forward in other aspects of their life that they may have an interest in.
Yeah.
They say, in the modern world today, children may not say, I find my mom and my dad beat up a whole lot. I'll be say locally how we speak that, in this garden every day, they're dirty and everything. Yes, it's an honest way of making a living, but I don't want to do that. But you as a parent, you may say, no, GT, you have to come into that farm. You may have to forego school today. You may have to forego maybe an exam today because I think I need you to come and help me pick some peas or
exactly. Yes.
So in a way you're saying that's how they're infringing on the rights
of the child. Yes, because although from the parent's perspective it may be, let's say, a harvest season, they really need the extra help, and from the parent's perspective, if we don't sell this amount, we wouldn't be able to, let's say, maintain our expenses. So it might be a serious need for the help. It's not always necessarily trivial, but it still doesn't fall on the responsibility of the child. A child is a child. A child is supposed to be catered for, not catering for others.
You may have seen situations like that being in the Child Protection Authority. How usually a situation like that dealt with? Where do you see infringement? It may not be under the same analogy that you spoke, but how is a situation of that dealt with? In terms of, the complaint has came in reference to, this child's rights have been infringed on by the parents. May not be the same circumstances. How is a situation like that dealt with, per se?
So initially, every complaint is taken to our investigations team. This is because you have to treat everything seriously. Some things don't lead to anything. Some things change lives and save lives. So first step definitely would go to investigation. From investigation, according to what is uncovered, it would then lead on to the relevant department. So investigations will tend to not only speak with the persons who are involved, but actually do community visits, site visits, school visits. They'll speak to neighbours, they'll speak to family members, they'll get case and character references. Because again, this is people's lives that we are dealing with. And I feel like sometimes people think it could be light and we can autonomously make a decision. We cannot. Even when it boils down to, God forbid, if the situation was that serious and it led to the removal of a child, us at Child Protection, we don't actually make that decision. We have to seek a court order. So a lot of persons don't understand that it's a multi-step process, but if it's, let's say, a lighter situation, we may be able to refer them to family support and offer like mediation services. Perhaps if it's just a lack of the parents' understanding, or perhaps they have a more historically cultural mindset, we might have to give them that extra support, that if, let's say, the child is showing signs of trauma, we may then open up the services for the children to receive counselling counselling from our in-house counsellors. If it's something that's, more serious and schools need to get involved, we may assign them a caseworker and we would work with them and deal and create a plan, because not every child that has a caseworker is necessarily in residential care. Okay. We still support children who are in their homes of their family, because there's different reasons you might need support. God forbid someone's grieving and they're going through intense depression. They may just need an extra helping hand and extra support for a season, as opposed to, actually having to completely restructure that child's life.
All right. How concerning in a Grenadian community, Grenadian society per se, if I could say that particular way, is these issues when they do arrive? How concerning it is for the Child Protection Authority when there's a situation like that arises? You may not be able to share all the details in right now, but how concerning it is for the Child Protection Authority when the rights of children have been infringed on in that particular? How concerning is that?
To be completely honest with you, it is heart-wrenching. I can tell you some of the cases that we see, you just want to cry, and it's really hard because as we work for the Child Protection Authority, we are bound, but not only by confidentiality, but there's only a certain amount of involvement we can do. Okay. So you may be thinking, if I could just use my personal money and give to this person, it's but legally, exactly, and we cannot, and it's really hard, and that's why sometimes you'll see us pushing for more foster carers and such, because we know that if we don't have anywhere to place these children will have to stay in their abusive situations, and it is really heartbreaking. I will say that is why we have things like regular debriefs and such factored in for our staff members, because we do see some of the worst of the worst. We also see some of the best of the best. Reunification there is nothing better than seeing a child and a family, healthily, but genuinely, it is really hard to deal with, and I do implore that when you see child protection officers, when you see even Ministry of Social Development social workers, have some space and have some compassion for them, because they are going through a lot, and it's a lot of burden to carry the world's problems on your shoulders, and you can't even speak to your loved ones about it because we're bound by confidentiality. But again, it's not more worth it for us to feel more comfortable and for you to put a child and a child's family and their information at risk. So we will take that every day.
All right, of course, I appreciate your response. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. We come back, we talk more about the motorcade. What folks are expect more about that motorcade coming up when we come back. Stay with us, folks. To the Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch it down.
Or renovating your home or business? Why not use clean, renewable energy? Install solar panels to power your home and office and see your energy costs go down and your savings go up. Using renewable solar-powered energy protects our environment, reduces our carbon footprint, and slows the devastating impact of climate change. Republic Bank can help to finance construction and renovations that make use of renewable energy. Visit any Republic Bank branch and ask about renewable energy financing options today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Welcome to the island's boldest ATV experience. The only tour daring enough to bring you this level of excitement, freedom, and adrenaline. Feel the power. Conquer rugged trails. Experience breathtaking views. Ride beyond the ordinary. Feel the power. This is not just a tour. This is the power of Ride ATV. Get ready for fun. Get ready for excitement. Get ready to ride. Book now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Ride ATV. Adventure starts here.
Get ready for the ultimate showdown of flavor, fire, and fun. Saturday, May the 30th, Monrouge Plainfield. It's the clash of the food titans. 19 junior and senior grillers battle for grill supremacy with over $5,000 in cash and prizes to be won. Taste grilled delicacies from Cuba and Chinese embassies. Plus family fun day, bouncy castles, go-kart rides, ride, go ATVs, trills, ring games, and more. Then from 6 p.m., the vibes explode. The Jambalassi team, more than 15 soca stars. Lights up the stage, non-stop energy, non-stop performances, non-stop culture. Gates open 11 a.m., grills light 1 p.m. Admission, adults $10, children $5. Children under 12 enter free. Maggie, King of the Grill 2026. Food, fun, culture, entertainment. One massive day you don't want to miss. Powered by Maggie, enhancing your flavors with support from Rubis, Blue Bubbles, Tents and Rentals, Grenada Paper Products, Grenville Credit Union, Flow, Budget Foods, My Finance Grenada, Cariburi, Ride Go Grenada, and Glenelg Spring Water. It's the clash of the food titans. 19 junior and senior grillers battle for grill supremacy with over $5,000 in cash and prizes to be won.
For Grenada to realize its true potential, we must all be a part of nation building. From every corner of the world, our sons and daughters carry the spirit of the Spice Isle in their hearts through culture, innovation, investment, and service. Now is the time to come home to your beautiful Tri-Island state, to reconnect with our roots, share our knowledge, to inspire our youth, and to help shape a stronger, more resilient economy for generations to come. We are all part of the collective journey to shape the future of our nation. Together, we are building a nation we are proud of, a nation defined by opportunity, unity, and purpose. Grenada is more than a place on the map. It is our heritage, our future, our home. We look forward to welcoming you.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to the Point Classic Radio GBN TV. And let me say welcome to a couple of Thanks for having you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I hope I don't get reprimanded for being late.
We good.
Nice to have you back with us this morning. Of course, we were in the previous segment, myself and Renee, we were talking about the motorcade coming up. We spoke a whole lot in terms of the working of the Child Protection Authority.
Definitely.
Now, of course, the RGPF is collaborating with the Child Protection Authority. Reasons why the RGPF will, of course, collaborate with, especially in an event like this. Talk to me, Renee, for today.
Most definitely. Well, I can proudly say that we are proud stakeholders. True and true with the CPA. As a matter of fact, my boss, my two bosses, who are
two bosses.
Assistant Superintendent, my Assistant Superintendent John and Superintendent Trevor Rodney, they both are on the board of CPA. As a matter of fact, Mr. Rodney is the chairman of the CPA board. So, I feel like I'm almost working with the CPA directly.
All right.
And we of course, we have to protect the rights of every human being, and children are human being. Under the Constitution, they have the right to life, the right to freedom, the right to speak, express themselves freely, the right to education, of course. And wherever those things are compromised, then something has to be done. Because we all here were once children, and now we're adults, and we want that same privilege be afforded to our youth. So, of course, an initiative like this benefits the Royal Grenada Police Force in the most immense of ways. And we appreciate the CPA for always including us. And I must commend them because they are always on point. One of our mandates at the Community Relations Department is going into the schools, into the communities. And of course, when we recognize that a child's health, a child's right is compromised, then we immediately reach out to the CPA, and they almost always are there on time with information, putting that information, working with us to assist those children when necessary. So, this falls right in our boat, and we will be there. We will be going around the island. We want to encourage everyone to come out, support the CPA, support the RGPF on this initiative, and let's continue to look out for our children, because it's in the best interest of our communities, our nation.
I certainly agree with that. No, we were getting to the whole procession of the motorcade and so forth. Share some details with me more in relation to that. What will be all about on that particular day?
Yes, so For our national motorcade, as mentioned before, we're going to be going through the whole of Grenada. So we'll be starting at Montrouge for 8 a.m. and we'll be finishing in the town of St. George around 5 p.m. We will be making short stops at certain communities. So ones such as River Road, Ambouchejou, Sortes. We will go through the list because there is a long list. And if you do check on our social medias, you should be able to download our route list. Okay. So you should be able to see where you can join in and kind of average the time. We haven't put the exact timings just because we know that with community engagement, you have to give people the time they deserve.
So there may be some delays.
Exactly. There may be shifts, traffic issues, you know.
And just to interject, I must commend CPA because I noticed that based on the names that you have put on the route, there's a lot of areas that, you know, I've seen for myself operating as a police officer that some issues persist.
Yes.
So it's very good that you guys are using the intelligence to focus on that motorcade.
Thank you. We were trying to be very strategic about
but then
it.
River Road, then I was like, I live in River Road, so I was wondering, we have those issues in River Road. I'm just joking.
We got some trouble here.
Well, as a proud town girl, I'm always pushing for River Road because that's also my community, so I must champion us. But no, we tried to be very strategic with the stops. We're also aware, if persons would remember, towards the end of last year we did another national engagement and we also included Carriacou on that stint. But we again chose specific communities. So we tried to not necessarily repeat the communities but still engage a lot of the hotspots.
Brilliant.
So even with some of the routes, we're passing specific routes, so we're going to drive through Pearls down to Grenville to make sure that we could pass Pearls and Seamoon and such. So if we don't do long stops, we can at least do short stops. Persons can still engage us because we do respect that there's a lot of off-route communities that almost get lost in this, hence even Beaton and passing through St. Paul's, because a lot of these places get overlooked, but their children still suffer as any other child would suffer.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes it's concerning when I hear these conversations like when you say, you know, a little island like Grenada, are we having those issues, especially with children? Sometimes it's a little concerning because sometimes you don't hear about it as much as you would like to.
Yeah.
You understand? We may hear of the running away and stuff like that from time to time when these bulletins goes out. Yeah. But sometimes these are the social issues that involve children. We sometimes they are limited in terms of the information that are shared related to that. Right. I understand the level of confidentiality that rolls out. You know, not everything can be spoken in public. Yeah. But sometimes it's just a bit concerning that you hear these issues are rolling and in some of the communities are rolling. Not that these communities are having more than the other. Yeah. But you understand that why are these things happening to the nature? Why were they happening like that?
Yeah. You will be surprised, you know, as you rightfully said, with children, there are a lot of protections in place, protective mechanisms, and with good reason. You know, we don't want to expose children to trauma, to the public, to anything that would be detrimental to their growth and viable, you know, success. But it does exist. You know, I'm sure she can back me up that it does exist. Where I see it a lot is that, well, part of our mandate under the Community Relations Department, we go in schools a lot. Yeah. And what we see is there are positive correlation with children struggling in school and having issues at home. So most times when we talk to the students, you know, sometimes it's not good to judge too fast when you see a child being recalcitrant or having issues at school, even with the education. Because when you really speak to them and you get to know, okay, where they live, their parents, and the kind of issues, most times it's a single parent home. You know, sometimes they don't have the means, and all these little issues come. They have been abused verbally, and sometimes when you say verbally, people think it's physical. Yeah. There is a lot of other different types of abuse in terms of psychological, verbally, those type of things, even financial abuse, you know. And when we go deeper, dig a little deeper, we speak to the principal, we get in contact with the parents, and we go into the communities. That's when you know, the soft side of you kind of come with, because you see what they're exposed to. And I think that's one of the challenging sides for CPA to deal with. Yeah. But I don't think it cannot be fixed. We just have to keep working together to try and deal with it. Exactly.
You know, sometimes that's one of the problems that I always see. We think we have in Grenada, where things are started and then it's left to lag for a bit, and it's not consistent in that follow-up and all of these things causes those problems. Now the message on the day of the motorcade. Talk to me about the message.
So our message is know your rights. Again, it is just so important for persons to know their rights, because if you don't know your rights, you don't know when you're being abused, when you're being manipulated, when someone may be disrespecting you, or when you have a right to be protected. And I think that culturally, because of our history, there's a lot of things that unfortunately get kind of swept under the rug, or it's named under the name of discipline. So there's
Culture.
many exactly.
Yes.
I'm sure we've all seen, even in our communities, there's a parent, they've got way too much on their plate. Everyone knows it's not fair what they're going through. Their child misbehaves and they start to beat them, and they're beating them with such a force, and with every step they might be letting out anger, and you can physically see them almost releasing their stress on this child. But that is abuse. That is not correction, and that is not discipline.
You mentioned culture. Maybe back then it was okay for a parent to give you a rap. Just to say it right, because a couple of relatives is going outside too much, or he's touching stuff within the house that I may say, don't touch the milk and sugar. You understand? You did all those things back then. Don't do that, and you continue to do it, and you've been beaten for it. But sometimes some parents may not have learned that maybe. So he was hungry at the time. There was nothing else in the house for him to consume, so they do that. And back then I think a lot of communication used to be one of the biggest problems in reference to today. So sometimes I say, why we see these things happening today when there are more avenues for communication. Exactly. When I say that,
social media
and all of these things. If you know most of the younger children today, they're easier to talk to you than maybe when we were as children. You understand? A child will stand up and talk to you about what's going on. Maybe when we were younger, we ain't feel it's easier to talk to an adult about problems at home. You say you visit the schools and so forth, and they are more open to speak to you about what's going on.
So true.
You understand?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I visited one of the schools in the south about 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to a young man who was having some issues, and he developed an attitude of learned helplessness because he was being abused for so long that to him that was normal. And I had to explain to him, that is abuse. And we had to go home. We called CPA and we did the necessary investigations and so to help rectify the issue. But that's what we want to really educate persons on. We want the child to know that you have the right to life, you have the right to be happy, and you should be aware. It's just like how we teaching children about good touch, bad touch, and those type of things. It translates into the same of your well-being. And when it's too much, when are you telling me too much, mommy? When are you cursing me and verbally abusing me, physically abusing me? When does it move from you under the arc of you telling me, behave yourself, and a little tap, and it goes over into abrasions on your skin, lacerations on your skin? That's when you know it's a serious issue, and we want children to be aware of that. And people don't give children enough credit. The children are extremely intelligent, GT, as you were saying, in terms of the communication and so.
When they will talk to you. It also goes back to, I would want to hear your views. Parents sometimes of these abuse children become defensive.
Yes.
You understand? They become defensive a whole lot. This motorcade will be taking place, and they may see their child or two coming to son or daughter coming out to have that conversation. How is a situation like that dealt with when the parent themselves now become very defensive? Let's create a scenario where that motorcade is happening on June the 3rd. Parent may see their sons and daughters decide, well, I think that's the opportunity for me to talk to the police or talk to CPA. How could we deal with a situation where parents become defensive away in terms of the information that has been shared?
Right. So I'm sure you would agree with me that it's a case by case basis, but most definitely, if you are defensive in the first instance, if we are trying to protect children, then that would raise a huge red flag.
The sign of guilt.
You're putting a target on your head,
and if not guilt, at least a huge lack of understanding. Still translates
and
to the
it happens.
Environment.
I've seen persons can be very unreasonable and irrational in their thinking. But it doesn't, just because you're irrational or you're not able to comprehend what is happening, it doesn't mean that you're absolved from the law. So whatever action needs to be taken against you, if it is happening, it will be taken.
Ignorance is not a defense.
Exactly.
We like to think it is, but it's not.
Now tell me, the CPA together with the Public Relations Department, what is that final message you would like to see after this motorcade has wrapped up? You get to the final stop, as expected, should be at the Blue Street Esplanade Mall area. What is that final message? What do you hope to finally accomplish in that final step?
So from child protection standpoint, definitely mass community sensitization. We want not only children to know their rights, but again, all adults to know the rights of children. We understand it takes a village, and we are very blessed that Grenada is such a communal country, and in that we all know one another. We all naturally know at least the overages of one another's business, and in that case you can stand in the gap, you can help. And we also would like people to know that we have an abundance of resources. Even when we were just previously now speaking about communication or persons struggling to identify abuse, we recently launched a 6-episode short series, which we have one of the actors here in the studio with us.
You can book me if you have any.
Sure. But it highlights different ways in which our culture has almost hidden or normalized abuse, and then within the episode we show the correct actions and the positive actions that could be taken. So please do check Child Protection's Facebook page or any of our social medias. You'll be able to view it. We also want people to know that there are so many different interventions. Even if your child is struggling, you might not understand. It might seem very silly to you that this child is always crying and anxious because they have exams, and in your head is, what's exams? I have so many bills to pay for. We have counselors that can help guide them through that. Reach out to us. There are so many different entry points. Even our family mediation, there are many situations where parents may struggle to agree on how they're going to share custody of children before it even reaches to court, because we do have court support officers, but we have family support officers that can even sit down and help to have that conversation between the two of you. There are many ways we can help you, and we want you to know that we're there. And especially, I do want to remind people, we do kinship placements. There are so many people who take in members of their family because they're in worse situations. You can do this legally, and through that, even if you have to travel abroad and stuff, legally that child would be recorded and regarded as your own. Let us help you, let us intervene, and just lean on us wherever you need us and for the time you need us. It doesn't always have to be lifelong.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we're due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We coming right back after the break. Don't touch it out.
Hi, this is Ruby from Chinese Embassy. We will be part of the GBN King of the Grill on May 30th. So we will be presenting our authentic Chinese grill, and we welcome you to come out and join us in the festival and sample this. So see you there.
Fire up the coals, bring the flavor. It's time to crown the King of the Grill. Maggie King of the Grill 2026 is calling you. Think you got the creativity, the skills, and the fire to rule the grill? This is the ultimate showdown for chefs, backyard masters, and the food lovers alike. Step up, show your talent, and claim your spot among the best. With over $5,000 in cash and prizes to be won, the stakes has never been hotter. Happening Saturday, May the 30th. Register now. Call or WhatsApp 407-8458. But hurry, registration close April the 30th. Don't wait. Bring your fire, bring your flavor, and bring your A game. Maggie, King of the Grill 2026, where champions are made on the grill.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong, one nation, one network.
You've arrived in paradise. You felt the rhythm. Now let's make sure you say it right.
A morning. My name is Florian. I'm from the beautiful Aida Perla cruise ship. So today, like we Germans say, we are in Grenada. But I heard in English it's called Grenada. Say it right. Grenada.
Say it right.
Grenada.
That's right. Grenada. There we go. Say it right. It's Grenada. It's not Grenada. It's Grenada. Say it right.
Welcome back, listeners. We're into the, of course, the segment that's going to take us to wrap the show this morning. Of course, we're going to have Renee give us, of course, a run through of the route once again. Of course, you started, but we cannot cut through on it a little bit. You're going to give us about the route again, the stops. I see the phones are going. We're also going to take a few calls. I sure there are listeners and viewers who may want to chime in and share their views in relation to the conversation this morning. We're going to give them that opportunity also. So let's review the routes once again, just for folks who may be listening this morning or viewing and may want to find out where you're actually going to be passing through. They may want to have a conversation with the CP when they're coming through. Talk to us about the route.
Right, so the Know Your Rights motorcade going down on the 3rd of June. That's next week, Wednesday, guys. Mark the date. Yes. And if you want to come out, please come out early, 8 a.m. But the motorcade will be leaving at 9, and that's from the Mon Rouge playing field, or Mon Rouge rather. I don't want to see the playing field and you're there and you're not seeing it. You must see some movement taking place. Yes. Yeah, there'll be a truck, assume, so Mon Rouge, and then they're moving up to River Road. Then we're going up Grand Mall. From Grand Mall onto Boucher-Joux, Grand Roy, so that's the western side. From Grand Roy, we're going to Guave, Gun Battle area. And then we're moving up to Victoria, entrance of Victoria. From Victoria, going straight up to the north, going up to Sautez bus terminal, and there'll be a short intermission there for lunch. You know, we talk, you gather, and so speak to some persons on the terminal. From there, we'll be moving on to River Sally, so we'll be going on the eastern side now. River Sally onto Pearls, then we're going on to Grenville Town. I assume that there will be a short break there too. Yeah. Then on to St. David's on Latante, Pomrose area. Then on to La Sagesse. From La Sagesse on to Beaton. And from Beaton, coming back down to Bruce Street on the Esplanade Mall, where I guess a lot of sensitization will be taking place there also. Yeah.
And we will be doing some short stops at the different routes. So please do come out when you are expecting us to pass through your village or your community. I know, for instance, Victoria, Grand Roy and such, we will have slightly extended stops. Pearls, Sea Moon, we will do short stops and we will pass through.
I love that.
Please just come out. We're trying to include everyone, but we know it's only one day, so we can't stop everywhere. But definitely come, and even if you want to continue the conversation, you can just leave your contacts with us. We will contact you. It's fine.
Yeah, and even if I want to just say, if you want to make an anonymous report, CPA is very confidential, so feel free to do so. You know, you can speak to anyone on the side and get the information out there.
You mentioned in terms of sharing information. Because in this day and age, folks like, as we will say in local terms, mind their business. Folks in a way of just not wanting to share information. They may be seeing children being abused in the community, or they may see, they know their neighbor is treating that child inappropriately, but for some reason they feel that they want to hold that information to themselves for various reasons. Just to remain anonymous, sometimes folks may not even want to call to say anything. It's important for folks to share that information, because it could save a life.
Most definitely.
It could save a life of a child. It can make the life a whole lot better, even for the family themselves. Sometimes that individual being around in the household, it could be an abusive, father, stepfather, boyfriend, whatever. They are the ones maybe causing that hindrance within the home. You understand? How important is it for folks to share information, especially in cases where you know that actual abuse is actually taking place?
It is I couldn't even exactly. And I'm so glad the way that you even explained it, because a lot of the times people blame the parents and they say, well, if you know your child was going through that, why wouldn't you report it? But as you said, if it's a stepfather, the mother may be under such abuse herself, afraid for her life. She may think exactly. Financial abuse is a serious thing, and we know that not everybody may have somewhere else to retreat to, and sometimes the parent thinks that the best thing for them to do is endure the abuse, so at least their child has a roof over their head and food in their belly. But that child is still growing up in an environment of abuse and witnessing abuse, and sometimes we need outside intervention. And if we do receive a report, we then can reach out to the individuals. The individuals themselves would not receive the same blowback because they didn't report it themselves, and it also highlights that they have community support and sometimes can encourage them to reach out and speak to people who they maybe were isolating from as some of the symptoms of abuse.
Okay, we do have a first caller. Let's entertain that caller. Caller Live, good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead, please.
Well, I have a problem for this here with my grandmother.
Caller, you have a device in the background. I think I didn't mention it earlier. Make sure it's totally turned off before you continue, please. Have it turned off.
Yes. I have a problem with my grandson and another job in the day. But sometimes the way he behaves, I just wonder what is the reason why he's behaving like that. I try my best with him as a grandmother. I grew him up from little baby till 12 years now. And I know he's preparing for secondary school, and I love my generation, but although I speak to him, he's not listening because I am his grandmother. And I mention it to the mother over and over, but she definitely knows he have ways or whatever it is, and I find, she speaks to him, but to me, like, he not listen to what she is saying rather. So I wonder with what it is he have, but somebody personally said they find he have an anger, and which, I find that is not good enough as a grandson, and I love him. I want to see good for him. So I said, well, it seems that was about get a counselor, but sometimes the mother will tell me that is not my responsibility or whatever it is, but it's my grandson. I want to see good for him, so I can't leave him like that. I had to get help for him because I find he has a good attitude. He has an anger into his behavior unseemly. And some people don't look at it, they feel, I speak to him all the time about his right, what is good for him, but sometimes say, Granny, don't tell me nothing, leave him alone or and I don't find that good enough, And we are parents, single parents, and we need, sometimes we have to go to higher authority to have a child behaving so, and I'm his grandparent and he's not listening. We need a little help in hand because we need each other.
Okay, thank you, caller. You want to respond to anything the caller said?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a beautiful thing that you've highlighted it and that you've already addressed some of the issues. The fact that anger was raised as well, there may be deeper things causing him to act out that way. So I think it's amazing that your focus is on the well-being and the health of your grandson. I would definitely say get in contact with us because from first hearing, obviously investigation will go deeper, so they'll be able to instruct a lot better. But it sounds like maybe some counseling support would help and some family mediation support that might be able to help create an open dialogue between you, your grandson, and his mother.
Okay, we do have another caller. What's up, caller live? Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, GC again, and morning to your esteemed guest. I was triggered to call on the basis of an earlier statement or so that was made by one of your guests in terms of saying that we all know each other. This you probably used to be true. It's no longer true. So we have to be mindful how we speak, we have the potential of knowing each other because of the size of the country, and there's still certain things that's going in our favor. But by and large, I can tell you as somebody who is in the 60s now, the generation, certainly the new generation, I hardly know any of them. So, and I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for people who, because there's been a generational disconnect, intergenerational disconnect. So we have to try and work back that into the fabric of our society. I hope I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm just saying we need to be mindful that things have changed. The world that we thought exists have been turned on its head. People no longer want to even tell you good morning when you say good morning. because we have adopted other people's way of living, unfortunately. We could rescue the situation, but as I say, from time to time, we need to become radically honest. And yes, it's no easy work working with children who are damaged, working with parents who also have been damaged. It takes a collective effort, and we need to really support the Child Protection Agency or whatever the proper name is, and other institutions that work towards ensuring that we have a harmonious society. But we must be honest. We contribute some of the problem because based on our ignorance and also our own trauma and ignorance of who we are and what we are, who we are being in this time. So just so that I'll just share that as someone who have worked in the area. Used to be working with Tufton Adventure Project, otherwise known as, from before that it was known as Fala Malagan Home. So I know, I've seen some of the worst situations that you could think about when you talk about abuse and all that kind of thing. And some of those will overcome. Not all, but some. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution there. I'm a caller that made an important point.
It's a good contribution, yeah.
We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
President, good morning. I've been listening very carefully to the suggestions made, but I think the approach towards this particular problem is to get the whole community. Nobody has to be calling this name, that name, so that people who probably at work now or somewhere else are not hearing this program would not know exactly what to do, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. And as a result, I think if this is done, we be able to achieve much more than we're doing now. Just a few people here, there, and everywhere is a waste of time. This is my view about it. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp, and that'll be our caller that will wrap today's edition. Caller via WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Jay, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Now, I want to just make a little point about the motorcade. For my little experience with motorcade going around the country, is people on a truck, some behind in a vehicle, the truck playing music, and maybe the person might be on a mic saying different things, and they just pass by. I don't know how effective that is to really get information out, but I know that people are having fun. You more view them as they having fun. You're not seeing the seriousness out of the message, because the motorcade is geared more or less, we see it as having fun, or you're raising funds, whatever, but still it's not geared at really bringing that serious message across. And I wish they could do an ad on GBN and put a number and the anonymous number, whatever, push that ad year round, so our nation could, especially after news or during news time, so our nation could understand. People could have that number registered in their brain so they could call in and give information, and just having a motorcade once a year perhaps. And to me, really and truly, it's just having fun. Have a nice day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Well, let me jump to CPA's defense a little here. I think, not to discredit what you're saying, caller, I do understand what you're saying. And you have to understand also there are different types of information sharing platforms. And, there are different types of motorcade also. This is not a Spice Mass motorcade or, a donation motorcade. This is a sensitization motorcade. And I think that CPA, in all its wisdom, they would censor it in a way that they would reach person, as she was saying earlier. They would go through different areas, different stops, and as I mentioned, what I noticed earlier, it's strategic. It's based on intelligence. Of course, I've seen CPA doing a lot of different ads on television. There are some people, they don't watch TV at all. You understand? But they will be sitting on the block that day, they might be seeing something, and the motorcade might be passing and they might hear something. It reminds me of the scripture with Lot. And God said, if you could only find one person. And that's the purpose. That's our intent here as stakeholders. If we could get one person, take away one child from being abused, whatever abuse it is, then we're successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I would like to just jump in and say we do have quite regular radio appearances, not only with GBN but the other stations as well. We've had programs running on GIS to explain more of what we do, different ways we can address. So we've gone through the different departments. Currently, we have, like I mentioned before, with our famous actor next to us, we have our short episode series as well to disseminate a lot of this information. But we have to go through different points. And I would like to stress, with the motorcade, we are stopping off in communities, and our staff members will be going on foot and engaging with persons in the community. So it's not just you're seeing it pass, but we're also doing that aspect because it is something to celebrate the fact that children have rights and that we are there to protect them. However, we do acknowledge that there are many different ways we need to support you, but that's why we have many different departments and many different initiatives. So just keep your eye on us and you'll keep seeing them coming.
Yeah, and you know, there are a plethora of different means that we disseminate information. I've seen pamphlets, I've seen vehicle stickers, I've seen this is a lot.
I just haven't gotten to that particular individual.
Yes.
I mean, there are ways and you see some folks, we bypass these information for various reasons. You know, sometimes the manner in which it's presented also may not captivate your interest. And I think sometimes you may be via social media and what grabs your interest, but that I just feel to scroll past. And sometimes the fundamental part of the information doesn't gravitate to you because of what it is.
Exactly, because if you hand an illiterate person, you know, a whole document to read through, it means nothing to them. But if we're driving through and we're speaking to you face to face, you understand perfectly what I'm saying.
Some folks may be better in terms of the communication.
Exactly.
Than actually getting a pamphlet, or sometimes even listening to information being thrown out. Folks may not gravitate even to this conversation.
Exactly.
You know, but you meet them on one and you speak, and they probably may understand.
Completely different. I mean, we did learn that from last year, and it is what kind of influenced our mode of delivery for this motorcade. Because last year when we did the Parent and Short series, we originally was giving persons the opportunity to come to their local community centres, but we had much lower engagement, so we then shifted and we started to go to persons door to door, and the uptake was insane.
Brilliant.
So from that, we've decided to transfer it over because, again, it's not just about our intentions, but it's about how it's received.
Because we prefer that conversation with the household.
More personal.
And it's a trial and error process too.
Exactly.
You figure it out as you go, because things are always changing.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both once again for sharing information this morning. I'm not sure if there's anything in closing. Maybe I'm sure show some more emphasis in terms of folks are coming out when the trucks come to the community and come out and have that conversation. Because it's all about making the children a lot safer and for their own well-being.
Just to conclude, it's in all of our interest to protect our children. Of course, it's one of the key mandates of the Royal Grenada Police Force and the Commissioner of Police. That's why we so focus on community policing. I heard one of the caller mention community, and that's one of our watchwords going forward in policing, because it's very effective getting into the communities, getting to know the families. As you said, the door-to-door is very effective because persons speak out more, they spill their guts, as we say, and we get to relate to them better, we get to refer a lot of information better to CPA, and it's in your interest. How is it in your interest? There's a great positive correlation between persons who tend to do criminal activities and their upbringing. If I grew up in an abusive home as opposed to you growing up in a home that's positive and good for your well-being, chances are I would tend to gravitate towards criminal activities. So it's in all of our interest to look out for our neighbors, specifically our children, so we can have a safe society for them, and we can continue to have a safe country. So support the Royal Grenada Police Force, and of course the Child Protection Authority, not agency. Child Protection Authority.
CPA.
And I think if I have anything to say, it's just that any child is your child.
Yes.
I'm always hammering this down when we speak of community. Any child is your child. It doesn't matter if they're related to you by blood, if it's the first time you've met them. If you see a child and that child needs help, that is your child. Because we're a village, we're a community, and if we speak about bringing back the community and the effectiveness of community, we have to start the trend.
Most definitely.
Children look up to us. Any child is your child.
All right.
I like that.
I want to thank you folks once again, and of course, Renee, I certainly wish all the support comes out on the day of the motorcade. I hope that it becomes successful, and lots of folks come out and share the information, and it becomes a success in terms of the motorcade. Thank you folks once again.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Usual. All right.
Definitely.
Hey folks, that's where we take a wrap for today's edition Up to the Point. Thanks all who participated and contributed in some way or the other. Thank you so much. Have a good one. That's where we say goodbye.